All right, one of the bigger news events of the day is the media cycle continues to go rumor mill, rumor mill, rumor mill. Is Jaylon Johnson wanting to get paid? The man had a great season, number one of all cornerbacks in the entire league, so he wants to get his money bags. And I'm just prefacing a quote, but in a recent interview he said, I love the idea of playing in Chicago, but I also love the idea of getting paid. All right, so where this breaks down to, he's just posturing. Guys, he's just posturing. He wants to get his money bags. You already heard Ryan Poles talk about how the deal is going to get done. Will they reach an agreement? I'm not sure if they will or not. Here's our current lineup. You got Tyreek Stevenson on one side. You got Jaylon Johnson. You got Gordon as the nickel. Johnson is the best corner in the entire league. If you guys don't remember from my other video I did, this was my preface. This was my main point in the cornerback room from the cornerback analysis video I did was pay this man now. This is what we need to do. This is why. So Jaylon Johnson is, go over to the fifth row. That's passer rating allowed. So I've heard some of you on different forums, and I've seen different things today, people talking about it. Let him go. Let him walk. Blah, blah, blah. He had one good season. Well, no, Jaylon Johnson's had more than one good season. Tyreek Stevenson had just as many interceptions as he had. No, yeah, they had the same amount of interceptions, but look at the passer rating allowed. 33.3 is the reason he's the number one cornerback in the entire league. 33.3 passer rating allowed. He's a shutdown corner. Period. That's all there is to it. Jaylon Johnson is the best there is. Has he room for improvement? 100%. We all saw him drop 2 or 3 pick sixes this last year. He could have been far and above the number one cornerback in the league. Tyreek Stevenson, don't be alarmed by that. If you didn't watch my video, go back and watch that video. Tyreek Stevenson with 100.4 passer rating allowed. That came down significantly. The end of the year was very solid for him. He had the rookie issues, but he's much better. And no, I don't think Terrell Smith is a better cornerback than Tyreek Stevenson is. If you watch them play on the field, this is one of those things where the eye test or the stat sheet doesn't show you everything, just like with Justin Fields. I'm going to throw another one in there. But Terrell Smith is not a better corner than Tyreek Stevenson. Your stat sheet doesn't show you everything. So if you do a basic search right now, this is what you're going to find on Jaylon Johnson. Jaylon Johnson issues a blunt warning to the Bears about contract extension. Jaylon Johnson's heart is with the Bears, but his money's on his mind. Jaylon Johnson sends a clear message to the Bears regarding his contract talk. Well, here's the plain and simple. If they don't come to a deal, you see on all of my mocks that I have him for $18.5 million. If they don't come to a deal, this is on over the cap, which is usually pretty accurate. Last year's salary cap had the franchise tag for a corner at just over $18 million. You can see right here, the projected 2024 franchise tag amount for a corner would be $18.421. This is exactly who has the franchise tag applied to them. The number one corner in the league who thinks they're bigger than they are and wants to reset the market by getting paid $22, $23, $24 million. That's not going to happen. Ryan Poles is a smart businessman. He's not going to hemorrhage this team. He's not going to put us into salary cap hell because the number one cornerback is going to fight against it and not play or whatever. He's going to franchise tag him. That's what's going to happen with Jaylon Johnson. Jaylon Johnson likes playing in Chicago, so he's going to end up ultimately coming to camp. There might be a little standoff. There might be some friction. Those things happen. You can't avoid these things. It's going to happen. That's fine. Hopefully he'll just accept the franchise tag, say I'm going to ball out again this year and you'll have no option but to pay me, and then we can revisit this again next year. But we haven't had to deal too much with some of that. I see that being what happens here. So can Jaylon Johnson handcuff the Bears? Yeah, it could happen, but we're not in hell if that happens because although I said Terrell Smith isn't as good as Tyreek Stevenson, he also was a rookie, and there's plenty of room for him to improve. So do I want to go Terrell Smith? No. Do I think Jaylon Johnson will sit out? I don't. I really don't. I think he'll accept the franchise tag, and I think he'll end up playing, and I think this will be a moot issue come training camp time. So that's what I think will happen. You saw on my video, this was my preference. There's only one option, pay JJ. If we pick a value, draft pick 4th or later in this draft, there are some solid cornerbacks in this draft. Now, if JJ hand ties us and we have to franchise him and trade him, I can see us using a high draft pick on a cornerback with this type of class. But we're not going to go down that path. This is really going to get resolved with the franchise tag. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a moot issue. That's all I think is going to happen out of all this. So the media is going to talk. They're going to do their thing. They're going to make it a bigger story than what it really is. And when it comes down to it, if JJ doesn't sign a multi-year extension, a 4-year extension for $74 million, 17.5, 18.5, 18.5 a year would be $74 million over 4 years. So if he doesn't sign that deal, then we'll franchise tag him. That's what'll happen. So that's all I have on this. I hope you guys had a great weekend. And until next time, bear down.